Tales of Herding Gods Episode 81. In the previous episode, Qin Mu and his companions found themselves trapped within Heaven Wave City. Unaware that a far greater danger awaited them, while performing a summoning ritual meant to call forth divine aid, Qin Mu's consciousness was pulled into a realm of endless darkness, where he stood before a terrifying being with 3 blazing eyes, the Dutian Devil King. Believing he could control this power, Qin Mu offered the lives of Heaven Wave City's divine arts practitioners as sacrifice. But the moment the devil answered, the ritual spiraled out of control. The wooden sculpture used for summoning cracked apart, transforming into a colossal, living body of flesh, the Devil King himself descending into the mortal world. As chaos consumed the city, the great mountain sect's Taoists attempted to seal the fiend with their devil withdraw command, only to be annihilated in an instant. Qin Mu, realizing the being he'd called upon was no ordinary devil, escaped with his allies on the dragon Qilin's back, barely evading the devil's grasp. But the Dutian Devil King's laughter echoed through the ruins, declaring his intent to build a new altar of flesh and bone, to summon his true body and bring the forces of Dutian into this world. And the story continues. They quickly brought the dragon Qilin to head out. The dragon Qilin had suffered an injury, thus his legs were inconvenient. So Hu Linger leapt onto Qin Mu's back and summoned a tornado to carry the wounded beast along. Behind them, Heaven Wave City was collapsing. The massive Dutian Devil King was wreaking havoc, using the flesh and bones of the slain to build a terrifying sacrificial altar. Although only his magic power and consciousness had descended into this world, his strength surpassed even the mightiest of cult masters. The city's strongest practitioners, experts of the life and death realm and the divine bridge realm, joined forces against him. Yet one by one they were overwhelmed. The army of divine arts practitioners fared no better. Thousands were struck down by his 12 demonic gazes, and the streets turned into rivers of blood. Soldiers fled in panic, some leaping into the river only to be crushed against the cliffs by the raging waves. Lacking discipline or unity, the sect disciples that made up the city's garrison could not form any cohesive defense. Heaven Wave City was doomed. As Qin Mu and his companions escaped, he looked back to see Long Jiaonan pursuing them, only to realize she was fleeing as well. Behind them, explosions shook the mountains as divine arts clashed. The shockwaves lifted Qin Mu and Hu Linger into the air. The force was so great that Qin Mu vomited blood. Desperately, he shielded Hu Linger in his arms to protect her from being torn apart by the vibrations. After several violent blasts, he was flung through the air and crashed into a forest. The windstorm from the aftermath of the battle sliced the treetops clean off. Bruised and suffocating, Qin Mu forced himself to breathe. His chest had been injured, but he managed to expel the blood clogging his lungs. He took out a jade bottle and fed Hu Linger a few drops of dragon's saliva. Slowly, she awoke, crying that she had lost the big dragon. The tornado spell that carried the dragon Qilin had shattered in the explosions, sending him flying away. Qin Mu reassured her gently, saying the dragon Qilin would heal. Though likely frustrated, he couldn't lick the wound on his backside. Still, Qin Mu admitted that he had lost Chen Wanyan and the others as well. Hu Linger sniffled, muttering that the dragon was more valuable than them. As Qin Mu prepared to search for their companions, a deep rumble came from the forest. Trees toppled as a gigantic serpent emerged. It was the very same beast that had destroyed the ship he once took to the capital. On its massive head sat a blood-stained figure, Long Jiaonan. The man's fine robe was torn to shreds, makeup smeared, his body covered in wounds. He coughed violently, glaring at Qin Mu with eyes full of fury, accusing him of destroying Dragon Rider sect. Qin Mu trembled. Long Jiaonan was no ordinary foe. He had previously fought entire cavalry divisions and sword guards alone. Even they couldn't stop him. Now, battered but dangerous, he confronted Qin Mu. When asked if the Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor had sent him, Qin Mu stayed silent and vanished behind a tree using his teleportation clothing. A massive hand of vital qi crushed the tree, but Qin Mu was already gone. Enraged, Long Jiaonan unleashed spikes of stone from the ground, turning the forest into a jagged trap. Then something strange happened. His body began to twist and writhe like a snake shedding its skin. His face split, and from within the shell of his body emerged a new, flawless form, this time with the unmistakable shape of a woman. Naked and uninjured, she dressed calmly and laughed, sensing Qin Mu's hidden gaze. High above, hidden among the treetops, Qin Mu watched with astonishment. He finally understood. Long Jiaonan was not a man at all. Perhaps the daughter of the Dragon King, raised as a boy because her father had desired a son. Her peculiar transformation technique not only healed her injuries but revealed her true form. Still, Qin Mu dared not look away. If he blinked, she would detect him immediately. But Long Jiaonan's senses were sharp. Goosebumps rose on her neck as she suddenly smiled and said softly, "You're staring at my neck. Does my neck look nice?" In that instant, Qin Mu realized she had located him. He triggered his teleportation clothing just as an explosion erupted where he had been hiding. Long Jiaonan, half-dressed, leapt onto her giant serpent and gave chase. She spotted Qin Mu sprinting across the sky, stepping on air to escape. The serpent released a dark demonic mist and flew upward, pursuing him. But when they both looked down toward Heaven Wave City, even the fierce Long Jiaonan was stunned. The entire city had vanished. In its place rose an immense altar built from blood and bones. Upon it stood Dutian Devil King, locked in battle with two powerful figures, the Dragon King of Dragon Rider sect and another Divine Bridge Realm Master. Both were on the verge of defeat. Above them, the sky twisted open, thunder roared, lightning flashed, and a gaping vortex appeared, revealing a realm of endless darkness. From that darkness, a monstrous creature with 2 heads and 2 eyes emerged, shrieking into the world. Behind it came an unending tide of shadowy figures, tens of thousands of heavenly devils pouring from the rift, devouring one another as they fell. Their corpses rained down upon the altar, making it grow ever larger. Blood rained from the sky. Higher devils descended, wielding scepters, chanting ancient incantations that filled the heavens with glowing demonic runes. Watching this apocalyptic scene unfold, Qin Mu's face went pale. He could hardly breathe as realization struck him. His reckless summoning of Dutian Devil King had brought forth a disaster far greater than paralyzing the entire Imperial College. I might have created a catastrophe beyond anything imagined, Qin Mu thought to himself as the corner of his eyes twitched. And that wraps up this episode. In this part, we saw Qin Mu and his companions escaping from the catastrophic battle that engulfed Heaven Wave City. The terrifying Dutian Devil King had descended, bringing unimaginable destruction with him. Though only his power and consciousness had crossed into this realm, his strength was already beyond any human comprehension. Heaven Wave City, once a proud stronghold filled with powerful sects and armies of divine arts practitioners, was completely annihilated in the chaos. The soldiers fled in panic. The mighty collapsed, and the city itself became a sacrificial altar built from the flesh and bones of the fallen. During their desperate escape, Qin Mu and Hu Linger were thrown through the air by the shockwaves, separated from their allies and gravely injured. Yet amid the ruins and fear, Qin Mu's determination endured. He treated Hu Linger's wounds, comforted her, and resolved to find their missing companions. But before he could do so, fate confronted him once again, through Long Jiaonan, the enigmatic and deadly warrior of Dragon Rider sect. What followed was a chilling revelation. Long Jiaonan, long believed to be the Dragon King's son, shed her skin and revealed her true form, a woman, powerful and mysterious, whose very existence blurred the line between man and woman. As Qin Mu watched in hiding, the horror in Heaven Wave City reached its peak. The Dutian Devil King clashed with other powerful masters, and soon the sky itself tore open. From the darkness beyond the heavens, hordes of heavenly devils poured into the mortal world. The air filled with their shrieks. Their bodies fell like rain, and blood streamed down from the heavens as ancient devil runes lit the sky. The sacrificial altar grew larger and more dreadful, and in that moment, Qin Mu understood the gravity of his mistake. By summoning Dutian Devil King, he had unleashed a catastrophe greater than anything before, one that might threaten the entire world. If you enjoyed this episode or found it fascinating, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the next chapters of Qin Mu's thrilling journey. Every episode reveals more about his courage, his mistakes, and his destiny in a world filled with gods and devils. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.